Hit the flip it. We good? All right, in today's lesson, we are going to be talking about stock options, but this time we're going to go deeper on why and how they actually have the certain value that they have. Like all these different prices that you see, we're going to talk about how does those values come about, okay? Sound pretty good? Last time we were in here, we talked about calls, we talked about puts, we talked about the stock market, we talked about equity, talked about ownership, and we kind of really did like a big overview of like how does this thing even come about. So this time to go a little bit deeper into options and what is an option, we got to talk about these values and then how can we trade it if we want to trade it. How does it even make us profitable or how do we lose, right? You know, same concept. Go to the little trade tab here. This is going to be using the Thinkorswim platform. And we are going to be, actually, I'm going to use SPY. I'm going to get the whole stock market. Because one, these options are crazy liquid. And I'm going to have a reason to say that here in a second. So you understand what liquidity means. Because that also has a lot to do with the price of an option as well. Okay, so today, the S&P 500, which is the total stock market, is up 3.6 points, which is a 0.5 percentage point up on the day. The chart currently looks like this on the daily. The candlesticks, like we mentioned last time. I don't know, what is this? Roughly 3 months of data. Roughly, yeah, about 2 months of data. Today, I mean, as we've seen, we're doing some hard gaps, like gapped up Friday, gapped up today, and we're still hitting, like pushing for new highs. As you can kind of see, I even drew a little trend line to show, hey, although we were making like some little bit of a down pattern, we were downtrending, we weren't breaking with this little line here. But over the past 2, if not 3 days, we actually have broken out of that downward pattern and we're starting to make a new pattern, but we don't know what the pattern is yet because there's not enough data to tell us what that is. Okay, cool. Right back to calls and puts. Again, puts on the right side, calls are on the left. I got a couple of different statistics up here. In the beginning, in the middle here, again, is just our strikes. This is where we are, quote, making those guesses or educated bets on where we believe the market should be going, either side of our plays here. So puts is going to be when we buy a contract. Remember, this is the tricky part of puts. We're buying a contract to say that we are going to sell 100 shares at expiration. This is the hardest thing to remember. Puts is when if you buy a put, you are saying I want to sell 100 shares at expiration of this at this price, whatever the strike price is that we chose. I wanted to also hopefully see this. I did a zero expiration. So today is the day that these expire. So the expiration date is one of the most important parts. It is the important part of options. Without an expiration date, it's just another stock. It has value based on whatever the price is at that exact moment. It is that. So right now, SPY trading at 601. If I bought a 600 strike put, I'm buying it for 30.37, so 37 cents, which is actually $37. We'll move the decimal place over because we're buying 100 shares, or excuse me, selling 100 shares. So we would buy this contract for $37 in hopes that by expiration, by end of today, that this contract is trading below 600. That's all we're saying. And then we can flip that exact same statement over. Calls, I am buying the contract to purchase 100 shares of this stock. In this case, it's actually an ETF. I know people online are freaking out right now, but for basic people, for the beginner, we're buying a stock with these options. I'm buying the right to purchase 100 shares at 600, and at expiration, which is today, I'm just going to keep saying that, today's expiration, I could buy this 100 shares for $1.81, and this is on the call side, and I'm hoping, end of day, I continue to stay above that $600 price that SPY is trading at. Currently, it's trading at $1.70 or $1.46. So this contract's true value is $1.46. Because at expiration, if it stays at $1.46 at expiration, it's worth $1.46 because it's $1.46 higher than 600. Does this make sense? Right? If I buy something, I'm buying a contract that says, hey, at expiration, this is this value. It's worth $1.56 at this exact moment until it changes, of course. Because I bought the contract that I want to be above 600. So every penny, every dollar that it goes above that, that's how much I'm making. But if you look at it, okay, it's trading at 601.66, and the actual right now, I would have, if I could buy it, I would buy it for $1.98. So that's weird, right? There's like some price difference between how much it's truly worth and then how much the stock is going for at the moment. Right now it's $1.75. It's trading at $2.04. You see, this is moving quick here. So we'd have to buy for $200. It's currently trading at $174. So the difference right now is about $25. So where does that come from? What is that $25? That $25 is time. That's all it is. This is this time premium that's built in that they are saying, hey, whoever is selling this to you is kind of betting and saying, hey, because of time, if I'm going to sell you this product, I need to sell you it at a premium so that I can make something in case it continues to move. This is premium. If you were to, it's kind of like if I were to buy a PlayStation, I think we had the same talk. If I were to buy a PlayStation $400, I want to make something. So let's say, hey, I know this PlayStation is worth, I bought it at $600. I know right now it's worth $601.71. But for you to buy it from me at this exact moment, it's going to be $602.20 because I want to make a little bit. Because at the end of the day, it might be a little bit higher, it might be a little lower. I don't really care because I'm making my piece. That's premium. It's what we call time premium. Now, these are all based on, how do we get this time premium? Well, you remember what time the stock market closes? Central time? Yeah, go find that bug. 3:30. Ooh, close. Close, real close. Central. It's real close, 3:30. You were so close. I thought you were actually about to say it. That's how close you were.
Don't the stock market opens Eastern time like
8:30. Yes. And then it closes at super close.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. That's right. Nice. Good work. That was good. So yes, at 3 o'clock, this market will close, and everything that is not above the price or below the price on the other side, all these will be zero. So this is what we call out of the money. I want to talk about this as well, because these are your quote unquote risky bets here. No matter what, assuming the price doesn't change, anything out of the money will be a value of 0, a grand total of 0, no matter what. If I have calls and I'm buying a 602 and it doesn't get above 602, this will be a worthless option. Right now it's trading at $74. But if it doesn't move, my $74 goes to 0 by the end of the day. So 4 hours and 30 minutes. If there is absolutely no change, I lose everything I just put into it. I bought it for $70. I want it to go above 602 by at least $70.
And then if it does that, how much do you pay?
However much the actual value is. So if I bought the 600, right, I bought it for 207, I would need it to be at 602 and above to make profit.
Oh, so basically,
And it's currently trading at 601.78.
okay, so, and then you said, so basically after 3 o'clock, and if it's not above, how much?
If it's not above that price that I bought it, so the strike plus the whatever I paid for it, if it's not above 602, you just lose it all.
But
If it is, you gain profit.
you gain profit more than what you bought.
More than what you bought it for. That's absolutely right.
Is there a type of percentage?
Yeah. I mean, whatever the percentage is. So let's say, and actually the fun thing is that you don't have to wait until expiration to do that. You can close at a certain percentage. So let's say if I bought it at $2, I'm actually up about $8 right now, which is, roughly 5%, roughly 5-ish percent. If this can go up to, let's say 220, or we get a push up in the market, I can sell it back, and I can just take my profit then instead of waiting for it to just close out.
But if you wait, you get more profit.
Nope.
It's just this.
It's just whatever that number is. Whatever the number is whatever that profit may be. And we're about to do it. So we're at 214 now, almost 10%. At 220. If it goes up probably another 20 cents more, we'll see that we made 10% in roughly the amount of time it told us to talk about it. I gave you $2 and then, or $200, and you just sold it for 220 in less than a couple, what was that, maybe a minute? You can kind of see how quick this happens. All right, so anyways, I'm going to keep going. Oh, there it is. Boom. There's our 10%. Just happened. We just made 10%, assuming we bought it at $2, like when we were talking about it. We've already made 10%. All right, so how does this price come about? We have this thing called volatility. We have a market price, a market maker price, which right now, this SPY, which is the S&P 500, the market makers have decided, so all the exchanges all together and the market makers that are selling these options have decided that SPY has the chance to move roughly $1.80 either way. So they think it's going to go at least $1.80 up or at least $1.80 down for the remainder of the time that we have here. So the next 4 hours that we have to trade. Oh wait, I lied. 3 hours and 30 minutes. 3 hours and 30 minutes, it could probably move almost 2 points. And so they're going to place that points into our options trade, that premium that we're talking about. That's based on the difference between our put and our calls. So if you look at the 600, we'll look at the 600 strike again. Actually, these are kind of overpriced a little bit. Let's look at the 601, right at the money. It's $1.32. Oh, trying to place a trade. We don't want to place a trade right now. $1.33 and 52. That's our at the money. That means, hey, it's trading at about almost 602 right now. That's our at the money price. We can find the value that we think the market's going to go, or at least they are pumping in. They are betting, saying, hey, here's the normal move that it makes, and I'm going to make money as long as it stays in between there. That's what the market makers are hoping for. I want it to not move more than that. And if it does, the market makers begin losing money, and the retail or commercial institutions that are buying or selling, whichever, will begin losing, or the other side will, of course, make money. So that, as long as it stays in here, that's how we make money. Or, well, the market makers do. You could be a market maker. People who sell the option. So this is your insurance. I like to put it as insurance. Does anybody have insurance right now? Does anybody have a car? You're about 15, right? 15? You got a car? You got a car? No? Dang, this illustration is going to be terrible, but I'm going to go for it anyways. It's going to be hard to understand it, but insurance. So when you are the market maker, you are the seller of these options. And so again, what you're hoping for is that it stays within bounds of this, inside of this little parameter here. If I sell this 600 strike put, I hope that it does not go below 600. I want it to just either come to 600 or stay above the remainder of the time. And every single one that I sell, I make $28. As long as I stay above 600, I'm cool. I keep making my $28 every time I sell it. Same thing with car insurance or health insurance. I'm selling you this insurance, and I'm making, in my case, me and my family, I pay $600 something a month for insurance. Every month that I don't use it, insurance makes $600 off of me. For every single month that I don't use it, they just make money. You see what I'm saying? As long as I don't have to use that thing, the insurance makes money. That's kind of what an options trader does as being the market maker, as being the one who's selling these contracts. I hope that you don't have to do it. And I'm making a very educated guess that I will make money, even if you do almost have to use it. So if it gets to 600, as long as it don't go 28 cents below 600, I still win. I'm still profitable. That's why this is the easier part of the game, is being the seller, because the probabilities are in your favor. But you can't win more than 100%. Whatever you sold it for is what you sold it for, and that's all you get. On the other end, if we were the buyer and we bought it, let's say 70, and it comes up here and it's now trading for $2, and I sell that, that's a 300x. So if this stock goes, if I bought this 602 and it goes up $2 from this point, goes to 604, it would be worth $2.14. I bought it for $70. I sold it for $200. That is a double, triple. It's almost, yeah, it's a little bit over a triple. So on the buyer side, they have the ability to make big jumps. On the selling side, the most you can make is your whatever you sold it for, that 100%. Kind of makes sense? You kind of seeing both sides of the game here. As insurance, let's just say I sell this health insurance, or let's say I sell life insurance. I sell it to a 20-year-old. Odds are good. Odds are real good. They ain't using it this year. The odds are fairly good. You don't have to use that life insurance this year. And then I come around to you when you're 21 and I sell it to you again. odds are still pretty good, right? Like, there should be no reason that you think that you're going to use that. But if you had to, man, that's good. So let's say I sell this life insurance to you for $100. I just keep making it and keep making it and keep making it. Because you don't use it. But the moment, yes, that's exactly what an option is. Yep. But the moment I have to use that life insurance, now I'm paying out. Now the insurance is paying out. And it's whatever, 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, whatever that offer is. And that's the same thing here. If it just so happens that that thing that probability comes into fruition, and that moment happens, that 600 strike is beat, now I have to pay out as the insurance, as the seller. And that's where they start shaking their boots. Because they were using the probabilities, and the probabilities did not sway into their favor at the end of it all. So what they're hoping is for, I start selling you insurance at the ripe age of 20. I'm going to sell that to you every single month for the next 40 years, and you're just going to accept it. Or heck, if you're 20 and you don't die till you're 80, my goodness, did they make some money. 60 straight years of just straight profit. Just for them to pay out $20,000 at the end. You could work minimum wage and make $20,000 in a year. Right? So they don't even care about that at the end. They've been making you pay that same amount in for 60 years. That's the beauty of it. At least selling. And that's what I tend to preach and teach, is the selling of it. The probabilities work in your favor. Even if it comes down to the point where you had to pay out, but at least if you had to pay out the same amount that you were taking in, you're still good. You were still good. All right, now let's talk about a little bit about these things called Greeks. Now, this is where we get a little nerdy, and I understand. This is where you got to write it down. I get it if it is a little bit deep, but we're going to talk about the Greeks of these options. Greeks. This is delta, gamma, theta, and Vega. And if you need to know more Greeks, you can Google it up. And if you decided to join a fraternity or sorority, you most likely have to memorize it anyways. Let me look at the Greek alphabet for you. Greek alphabet. It is alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, xi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, epsilon, phi, chi, psi, omega. I swear I used to know those by heart. And I only remember alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta. It's just like I can say it. I can say that fast. Zeta, eta, theta. Because you can think like zeta, eta, theta. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, so we have Greek alphabet, and they love using this Greek alphabet in math. It is a big deal. And they use it in chemistry as well. You'll find that delta is this change. If you ever see chemistry and you look in at how does fire affect some chemical or whatever, you will see that there is a delta in there. It's a little triangle. Here, I'm gonna pull this bad boy up for you real quick. All right, here's your Greeks. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, xi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, epsilon, phi, chi, psi, omega. Whew. I used to be able to make so much faster at it before. Sigma is typically when you're talking about summing numbers together. Lambda, I don't know. That is something in calculus with like the sine, cosine, and sine, cosine. There's another one. What's the other one? It don't matter. It it don't matter. Anyways, we're talking about delta here. So the delta is our rate of change. We have a theta, which is how much time decay do we have? What's the decay at? What's the decay rate? Okay. Over here on your left, although the camera may be able to see it, you probably see a little bit better. There's this row or this column of deltas. Delta is the rate of change, how much you make per one change or $1 change in the actual price of the stock. Everything at the money is 50. You got a 50-50 chance. Just like you flip a coin, either it can go up or it can go down. It's 50-50. As we go up and as we come down, then our odds change. As we come down $1, how much would it take to get to $2 up from that same flip? Typically it's 25 if we're keeping in that same route. So 50, 25, 12, so on and so forth. But that's not exactly how this works on here, but same concept. So right at the money is going to be our 50. You'll see that. If it's trading at $62, the $62 strike will be a 50 delta. That means as it goes up one more dollar or goes down $1, it will increase in 50 or decrease in 50. So as we see, it's currently trading at 80. So that means the stock price went up because I remember we were talking about a minute ago is at 70. If it goes up $1 move from here, goes up to 603, it will then trade at 50 more than this currently trading at right now. And we should see that the price would be at 134, somewhere between 134 and 150. Delta, the rate of change per $1 move. This is the stuff right here. This is your college experience right here. If you're in a college class, this is how they teach in the college class, but they'll be flying through this mud. I remember the first time I heard this, I said, what is this garbage? The rate of change per $1 move in the stock. Delta is the rate of change per $1 move in the stock. Gamma. Now this is something that you will not actually trade with, but it's there to help explain all these little movements. Gamma is the rate of change of delta. So don't worry about this one too much because you won't have to, it's not something that's going to be on a Series 7 test, but just know that it's there. It's the rate of change per delta. So as we move up or down, per $1 up or down, the gamma is, in this case, is 20 cents. As I move up $1, the rate of change in the delta will be 20 cents. So I go up $1, and you'll even see it here. So from 50, the next dollar up will be 70 delta. This is helping us with our next line of probability. Just like I said before, hey, once I flip a coin once, now I have a 25% chance. What's the rate of change in that percentage chance? In this case, it was 25. So every time I flip a coin, my probabilities come this much, this difference. That's gamma. Don't worry about it. It's not a big one. It's not really even a big deal. Your big deal is this guy right here, this big bad boy called theta. Theta. Theta is a decay. Decay. D-E-C-A-Y. Theta is decay. It is, no matter what, by the end of this day, this option will lose that much value. So right now we have theta decay of 34 cents, 35 cents. No matter what, guaranteed. From this moment till expiration, which is the end of the day, which is 3 o'clock. It will lose $30 in price. Guaranteed, no matter what. Theta is the decay. It's a 1-day decay. Theta, 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 is the decrease in price, so decay, it decays. So it's trading at 166 right now. At the end of the day, if it doesn't move, we will lose another 30 cents on this. Even if nothing happens whatsoever, we're losing 35 cents. And now I was going to say, now it's 34 because the time's already changed. The rate of decay per day. Theta, that's the big bad boy. That's what all these market makers and sellers of options, they absolutely just are ready to get it. That's the beauty right there. Theta, how much it decays per day, how much the premium leaves the price per day. Theta, they love it. It is the bread and butter of an option seller's world. It's what they love. And if you stick with me long enough, it'll be the exact same thing that you absolutely love every single time you get into a trade.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Theta is the decay of premium per day.
Per day.
Per day. Now, Vega, this one is not as important in our daily ones, but it is very important when we go out a little bit further in time. I want to show you this a little bit. This is a little bit further out. So this is 30 days from now. So Vega, Vega, is the amount of price per volatility. As the volatility increases, this is the price. This is how it changes the price of the option contract itself as well. So for every 1 point move in volatility, Vega, at this point, like this is a 70, it says Vega is a 0.7. If volatility goes up, that means the stock price will go up, or excuse me, not stock price, this options price will go up by that same 70. Vega is a very, very big deal, especially when you're talking about holding contracts for a really long period of time. If the market starts flying down, volatility goes up. Volatility is purely the amount that something can move in one day. It's what we're basing this day on, is how much can it possibly move in one day. That is volatility, that is Vega. The higher, if we have Vega expanding, that just means that we think a stock can move in any direction more than it's normal. As an option seller, this is your worst enemy. As an option seller, this is your worst enemy, is Vega. You want volatility to go away, so the price of this contract goes down. So these are 30 days out, we have 70. Now I'm going to go back to our today's expiration. So expiring today, the exact same contract is 4 cents. So if volatility, it would have to go up. Volatility would have to go up 20 times where it's at right now for it to be the same amount as it was 30 days from now. So volatility in the same day doesn't change much. Volatility for things that are way out in the future, huge. That means that it can move more every single day for 30 days. If that, you see how that makes sense? That is your Greeks. Delta, the amount of change in the price. So this 170, ooh, it's going down. Or oh, I'm sorry, no, it's actually, dang, we really making some money today if we did buy that 600 strike. That 600 strike call that we bought at $2 is now trading at $2.60. That's a 30% move. We've made 30%, assuming that we kept holding it. We've made 30% already. We made $60 today. If we kept on holding it. Let's see what happens here. It's pretty cool. Made $60. Haven't done, how long we've been talking up here? 20 minutes? That's not bad. That's not bad. Assuming you can do it. It's a lot harder to do it than just talking about it and watching it theoretically. It's a lot harder. Okay, we'll keep going. That's crazy though. That's crazy though. All right, so right back into it. Okay, our delta is the rate of change per dollar move in the stock. So our options, if this one's trading at 260, if it goes up one more dollar, if we're trading at 602.45 and let's say in the next 10 minutes we go up to 603.50, this option will be worth 89 cents more. And so we'll be trading at 40, that's 30, so 348, which is a 50% gain in our, and we made $140 in a day. You can't, you could almost do this with, by selling, but it'd be a lot harder. A lot more probability, not in your favor. Delta, now this is a little bonus tip for those that are paying attention to the delta. Delta is also your probability of being in the money at expiration. This is a big one. This is where people use probabilities. They use the little curve. Anybody ever seen the little, what's it called? The bell curve? You ever seen a bell curve before, or in math seen it whatsoever? The bell curve. Anybody seen a bell curve? Your probabilities. 1 standard deviation, 2 standard deviations, your mean. It could be in there. You probably talk about in the 8th grade a little bit. Mean, average, mode, all that good stuff. You talked about that a little bit in 8th grade, maybe a little bit your freshman year. Let me pull. Let's do this real quick. Bell curve. Is this a good picture? Come on, good picture. That's pretty decent. All right, so this is the bell curve. We have 1 standard deviation, which is about 68%. The next one's going to be 14% more over. That's your 2 standard deviation, 3 standard deviation, and then 4, which is kind of going into the infinity part, where you actually can't hit a perfect 100% until it's over, but we're not going to go that deep into it. It's like 98.9999 or something like that. It's a pretty crazy number. Or 99.8999, whatever. But that's like your 4th standard deviation. And you never really get there, nor would you want to bet against that either or bet for it, because the odds are so far out of your favor. So these are your average, your mean. Your mean's in the middle, your 50% chance. That's your average. Your 1 standard deviation is where most traders live, die, breathe at. Because inside of 1 standard deviation is probabilistic. Outside of 1 standard deviation is very highly improbable. These things don't happen very often. They happen roughly 16% of the time. Either side of the deviation. And when they do happen, it's a big, big deal. Everybody talks about it. But this is your standard deviation curve. This helps you understand how do we get these numbers that we're getting with these options contracts. This is actually every single thing that you need to know about options is right here in this bell curve. If I am at the money, this is my probability of it happening. Whenever I sell contracts, I want to sell somewhere close to the 2 standard deviation. because it most likely won't happen. And even if it does happen, I still have a chance of only making it to at the money where I still collect my money, even if it got there in the first place. This is where people want to live at when they're buyers, so they take advantage of the price movement because it moves faster at those places. That delta, the higher the delta, the better, the more money you're making per move, either up or down. All right, so now this delta, now that we have the delta again, I want to pull up the curve. I will do it back and forth. So we have a delta, anytime we have a delta of 50, 602 should be roughly our 50. So I'm going to pull up this. So we got 57 delta. That means we are dead square in the middle of something happening. We are betting, or this delta is saying, hey, 55% chance that this is in the money at expiration. Because it's right at it. it's where it's at. It probably ain't going to move much more in the next 3 hours. Either up or down. Most likely up or down about 7-ish% of the time. Okay. As we go into the money, we have a higher probability of it being in the money at that time. So 70% chance of it being above 601 at expiration. This would be a tough sell. If you were to sell that contract, you're losing 70% of the time. That's where these sellers are going to be out of the money all the time. Because the probabilities are in their favor. Theta decays in their favor. Vega is in their favor. We want to sell out here where things don't usually happen. When buyers are going to be in, they're going to be in here where it most likely will happen. This is your call side. I've been harping on the call side. Puts a little bit different, but exactly the same, just on the opposite. If I'm a buyer of a put, I want it to go down. When I'm a buyer of a put, I want the stock price to go down. The delta, the gamma, the theta, and the vega, all exactly the same. If I have a 602, right now it's trading above 602. As long as it don't go down and it stays above 602, I can win $60 if I were to sell. I think this is a great place to chew on this. Greeks is hard. Calls and puts is hard. Summary. Calls, when you are the contract buyer on calls, is when you want to purchase 100 shares of a stock. Puts is if you are a purchaser of a put, you buy a put, you want to sell 100 shares of a stock. Puts is when you're selling, calls is when you're the buyer. But you can buy either one. It doesn't matter. Whatever way that you believe that the stock's going to go is where you should be placing your purchase at or your sell at. The Greeks. Most important part is going to be your delta and your theta. Those are your two big bad boys of the options world. Everything you need to know about options trading will be based on these two Greeks. Delta is your probability of it being in the money. Also, it's your rate of change. If I were to sell or it would say I have the 605 strike contract, it has a 8% chance of being in the money. That's my probability. It's an 8% delta. 0.08. That means it has a 0.09% chance of actually going above that price at expiration. We only have an 8% chance of this stock moving $2.70 by 2 hours and 55 minutes. This is your bell curve in effect. As we go up, you'll notice the delta moves. 19, 37, 58, 78, 88, 95, 99, 100. So what the market makers are saying, hey, guaranteed almost 100% of the time, we ain't going below 597. Like the probabilities are so it would be out of character in so many ways for this stock to fall 7 points by 2 hours and 55 minutes. Put side, same exact thing. Delta, gamma, theta, vega. Big bad boys are delta and theta. Theta being the summary of theta is going to be that it's at our decay. At what rate does this contract lose value per day? And in this case, a 602 strike put, it is guaranteed. It's trading at 62 cents. The theta is 61 cents. Guess how much it's going to lose if nothing changes by the end of the day? Guess what its price will be? 60 cents, 60 cents of theta decay. It will have zero value. Everything out of the money has zero value at the end of day. Because this is expiration day. This is the it. All right, cool. Yeah. Cool. Mm-hmm. All right, and that's all we have for today. So we went over the Greeks. We went over delta. We went over gamma, theta, vega. We went over what is a call, what is a put. 100 shares is you're purchasing is on the call side. When you're selling 100 shares, it's on the put side. And that is the college level run of what are the Greeks for options. And we're going to talk about more about trends and things of that nature, how to get in, what strategies to use, how do we take advantage of the delta, the theta, the gamma, the vega. How do we take advantage of those in a way that makes us money? And we will do that on our next live. So if this has helped you out in any way, if it was insightful, inspiring, if it makes you want to trade a little bit more on the option side instead of being a stock buyer or seller, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and we will be back next time where we'll do a little bit more. So stay alive, hit that bell notification. I'll check you guys next time.
I want to start.